Hello? What the hell is this?
What, man?
What you're wearing?
It's my Ghost Recon gear. Hello.
What? Why? What does it do?
It's 10% microtransaction discount if I had the ghillie suit on, man. What are you talking about?
What about this gun you've got?
It's 40% chance to glitch when you're shooting an enemy or if you're in a cutscene. Yeah.
What about this EA branded umbrella you're wearing on your head?
Well, I mean, that's in case it rains. So, yeah. Don't want to get it wet.
Fair enough.
Hello, everyone. Ghillie on. This is how I get away from the ladies. Shit, they've seen me.
This is how Sam finds ladies. He stands around in the bushes wearing the ghillie suit, being like,
are you alone?
I'm Mo, or as the ladies like to call me, hey you behind the bushes.
Guys, welcome. It's time for our break.
Time for the break.
It's time for our Ghost Recon Breakpoint impressions. I've been playing it over the weekend. I just did a video on it on Chill Up.
Yep. Don't
Check
watch
it out. And Sam played it as well this weekend.
Yep.
Hadn't really planned to do a video on this, to be honest with you, because I don't usually do beta impressions. I'm like, whatever. I like to wait until it's out, but I reckon this is in such a shabby state that I felt like I kind of needed to say something about this game.
I think you think it's 76 territory.
Hello, this is your captain speaking. Just experiencing a little bit of turbulence. Just a reminder that Fallout 76 is an abomination of a game. Thanks.
I feel
Could
like
that be it?
It's not 76 level bad, but it definitely feels like Ubisoft's Fallout 76 or Wolfenstein Youngblood or Anthem. It feels like that kind of level of what the fuck were you guys thinking? It really does feel that way after I played about 6 or 7 hours. This game has a lot of fucking problems, man.
I mean,
a lot of problems.
I think we have a very different opinion of this.
I think we do.
I really think. I'm actually very excited to see how this goes. Will this remain civil after the break?
If it gets heated, Sam will just ghillie suit out of here.
I'll just be like, fuck this.
He sent me the video of the guy in charge.
I see you don't have a lifeguard here at your beach.
I'm not at the beach, this is a bathtub.
Okay, so look, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, follow up to Ghost Recon Wildlands from a few years back. Look, that wasn't a terrible game. I didn't love that game, just all cards on the table. I thought it was good, but it got repetitive. You never played it all, did you?
No, look,
Never.
I've played Ghost Recon about 10 years ago. So
The real Ghost Recon.
So I've had quite a hiatus in between. So when I've jumped back on here, it has been a bit of a rude shock in terms of the direction they've gone. And just this whole trend with open world and looter shooter. We'll get to it later, but it's just very different from what I remember Ghost Recon to be.
For sure. So this game, I think Ghost Recon Wildlands did a pretty good job of trying to be tactical. It wasn't like a proper, real, tactical, hardcore military shooter. It was kind of like a more accessible version of that, okay? But it was still trying to be a tactical shooter. It still had a focus on immersion. Biggest problem with this game is that it's just so immersion shattering at every single turn. This game has no interest in trying to feel like a real world military shooter. It wants to feel like an RPG looter shooter light, okay?
Definitely.
So, how does the looter shooter stuff in this game work, Samuel?
So this isn't a traditional looter shooter, fine, but it does have the whole rarity system. There's going to be the blues and the greens and of course like the epics and whatnot. You will find them out and about. You can also craft weapons if you have the certain materials and all that kind of stuff. So in that regard, it is going to be looter shooter-esque.
Okay, sort of, yeah, but it's more like an RPG light, I would say. You know, I think just because you can find a gun somewhere and it has stats on it doesn't mean it's a looter shooter. It's much
But it
closer.
definitely leans in that way. When you do see those stats and you can find certain items with like an item drop chance and whatnot.
Yeah, I hear you, but I think a lot of people are labeling this looter shooter, and I think that really gives the wrong impression. This is not about like, oh, I need to find all the loot and build builds and all this sort of shit. This is very much like a cool, I have to level up my character by collecting higher level loot that has higher level stats. You want to try and maximize your gear score, etc., etc., right? I just want to know why the fuck this is in Ghost Recon.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell were they thinking putting this shit into a Ghost Recon game? It is the least Ghost Recon thing you can think of. And it's like, why does every Ubisoft game need to be the same? Why do they all need to do this?
It is just amalgamating into its own little just one thing. It's just like osmosis of every game.
Far Cry has this. Assassin's Creed has this. Division has this, and now Ghost Recon has this. They even have stuff similar to this, by the way, in For Honor, which is a fighting game. Like, Ubisoft, please, man. Like, the problem with Ubisoft back in the day was that they said, okay, we've got an open world template that works with markers and towers and all that sort of shit. Let's do that for all our games now. That was like Mark 1 of the Ubification. And now this is Mark 2 of the Ubification, where it's like, we've got an open world template that works. Now let's build game systems and just use the same systems across every single game.
And I think it's good for someone like me that has not jumped on for so long. I can see the giant difference that I'm experiencing. And there has been a huge transition from like once an intimate, very curated experience I felt that was not about what the current trends are, but really about like what is Ghost Recon. And that's what I felt is missing here, especially with the whole looter shooter thing. I mean, it is a step away from what I would expect from a curated experience. Well, they want you to have certain guns for certain environments that fit a certain what you're doing at that moment, for sure. You know? But the gunplay also, I mean, it's a gun game, right? It just felt generic, to be honest. When I was shooting, when I was using different weapons and whatnot, I walked away by the end of that beta and I thought, do they have the love and care that I would have expected in a tactical shooter game? No, personally.
I definitely feel like the Division weapons, for example, feel a lot more satisfying to use than these weapons. Look, I don't think the weapons are bad in this game. They feel okay, but none of them really knock me out of the park.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I'm not saying
fine.
I'm not saying that they're bad. I just think that when you have such a huge emphasis on a tactical shooter, I want to feel like there's a lot of love and care into that kind of element, and I do feel like it kind of feels like, maybe Days Gone, for instance, another title that's come along kind of in the middle tier of AAA, and there's not a huge emphasis on, gunplay. It's more about the world and whatnot. I feel like that's kind of moving into that camp where their vision of this game, they didn't put as much effort as I would have expected into the guns. It feels like other efforts have been put into the world and the friggin'
the RPG stats,
all that kind of stuff, and the microtransactions.
Yeah, well, we'll come back to that.
We'll come to that.
So I guess as well, one thing we need to talk about in the context of gameplay is the AI. Now, this AI is so unbelievably dumb. Like, unbelievably dumb. I can't believe it. It's just so many times when I was playing this, 6 or 7 hours, just staggering levels of stupidity from the AI.
Hey, you get down the fiddle and you get down the bow. Kick off your shoes and you throw them on the floor. Dance in the kitchen till the morning light, till the Louisiana Saturday night.
Every time they had a chance to do something, to create some sort of pressure on me, they would just stand there like Muppets.
I know, they would keep walking towards me too, and I felt like this is a tactical shooter. Aren't I supposed to be like really finding my way to certain positions to like... No, there was nothing like that. It just felt like there was no real use of the landscape. There was no real intelligence that I was feeling from this AI at all. And, I was just finding constantly that if I was shooting one enemy, another 2 enemies were just walking through a field and I could just turn to them and headshot them.
It's like, in a game where one shot, one kill gameplay is possible, you need to make your enemy smart so that they don't... Like, because literally you can shoot a group of... There's like 5 dudes standing in the field.
Headshot all of them.
You'll just shoot one and then the other 4 guys will be like, huh? And then another one will get shot and another guy will be like, that was weird. And then the next guy gets shot, and the other guy's like, watch out, there's enemies near here.
Yeah.
None of them have hit the floor yet. None of them have tried to take cover. They're just standing there waiting for you to shoot them. I shot 5 guys in a row like that because the AI is it's fucking dumb.
It's Metal Gear Solid bargain bin stuff. Like, like they're just like, what was that noise? But like, they're just, it doesn't work. And I encountered a lot of bugs. On top of the dumb AI,
there's a lot of bugs.
I saw some AI, some dude just spinning in a circle. I just watched him for a few minutes. Like, it was like, what are you doing? And then other people that were just like, literally standing there but not shooting while the other ones are shooting, and he was just looking the other way. Like, just seemed like, yes, it's in beta, but this is out in a few days. Like, this is not in beta territory now. This is really demo. This is a demo of the game.
It's out, I think, actually 2 days from now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
look, story and character wise, John Barenthal's in there. He does a good job, I think.
Sure.
With the scenes that he's in are definitely elevated by his presence, but I'm not sure if that's because the rest of the scenes are just that bad. Like, they're that bad. The voice acting is so terrible. Facial animations are basically non-existent. Your character, Nomad, is the most like blank like plank of wood I've ever seen on screen.
Calm him down, yeah? And then come find me. I'll give you the guided tour.
Yeah, boy.
Just no emotion, no anything at any point in time. I was just like, oh, these cutscenes are so painful.
I don't actually think. Look, okay. Look. How do I say this? Do I think they're bad for today's standard? Yes. I feel like they just haven't moved forward. It felt like I was watching a Gears of War 1 from the original Xbox cutscene. Very one-dimensional. Like, we're trying to tell you the story, but there's not a lot of depth here. I feel like gaming in general has moved on. We want more depth. We want more finesse, in what we're experiencing. And what we're experiencing when we're watching a cutscene. That's the problem with our experience. I don't think it was a terrible performance, voice acting wise and cutscene wise. Just thought, we've moved on from this. This looks too basic bitch.
I think that one of the other weird inconsistencies and immersion-shattering things was this weird social hub. So basically, you crash land, and you're like the lone ghost recon operative. You're all alone, and you need to like bring down this paramilitary organization all on your own.
Yeah.
You get to this base of operations, and you're like, you're the only one that can save us. And then the cutscene ends. And then, around you are like 50 other ghosts just wandering around dancing and stuff, doing like dabs and shit. Like, it's so crazy that this social hub exists in this game. Why is this here? Why is this needed?
It's definitely like the game I can think of where you just want to be by yourself and experiencing, a jungle. You kind of want it to be like Predator, right? Like everyone else is dead and you're just like trying to kill something and you feel like you're alone. Like, they completely missed the mark in that regard. I come back to my previous point. That's what I would have thought, the previous Ghost Recon was really trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And now they've gone down this, like, let's, give other people a hub that they can, see other people and shit. It's like, why?
Do you know they actually had a Predator DLC in Ghost Recon Wildlands?
Oh, really?
Yeah, funny you say that.
Wow.
Yeah. So, look, I believe, and this is really where it comes back to my sort of like summation point, I really believe the social hub exists to pressure people into buying microtransactions. I believe that the weird RPG mechanics are in there because it allows them to sell weapons where other game systems wouldn't be as easily monetized. Same with the crafting system, with all their like ham-fisted survival bullshit, with their repeatable daily missions. The whole thing just feels like this game has been built from the ground up as a microtransaction platform. And Ubisoft has always been pretty like, pretty avant-garde, I said in my review, like very forward thinking with regards to its monetization practices, but their games have still been pretty good. Like you might not have liked the way that Assassin's Creed Odyssey monetized, and I didn't, with their XP boosters
with the
and
grindy
shit.
Yeah.
But that's still a good game. You know what I mean? Far Cry New Dawn, like a lot of people didn't like it. I thought it was actually pretty good, but I hated the monetization because you could just buy the weapons. This game from the ground up feels like every decision was taken in the context of how can we make something monetizable? Like, I really believe that is the case with this game.
Ultimately, I feel like this is not what I would expect from a Ghost Recon. I think a lot of people that might have not jumped on the series for many years will jump back on this and go, whoa, what's going on here? Like, has the monetization trend, the open world, the looter shooter had a huge effect on the original DNA of Ghost Recon? For me, yes. Do I look at this and go, are they really looking at what is the core idea of Ghost Recon and honoring that? No.
Definitely not.
Definitely
There's
not.
no respect for the idea of what Ghost Recon is in this game.
I just feel like they've got a lot of different types of IP. They really should have looked at this and gone, cool, we can still make this different. We can give we can give our consumers Ghost Recon in the way that we know that they've loved it previously. It didn't need to reinvent the wheel. All intimacy is gone.
I wouldn't even say reinvent the wheel. I think we're actually like borrowing wheels from other games and then kind of like Voltroning them together into some Frankenstein microtransaction wheel.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, and I just think that, is this a perfect example of how monetization does affect games? Even if you can still buy the game, guys, and play the whole thing, doesn't mean from the ground up, fundamentally, from the first day of development, things are not different now than what they used to be, because they're like, cool, how can we make a game that everyone knows and loves, but fundamentally change all of it to make sure that we can monetize the hell out of it. This looks like exactly what's happening.
This feels like it should be a free-to-play game. I'm not joking. Like, if you put this game on the table as a free-to-play game, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense now. Now I get it. Do you know what I mean? But as a $60 premium game with a season pass and all the rest of the bullshit, like the super deluxe premium modes, whatever, that come with ghillie suits and the thing, you know? Like, no. Just, like, honestly, this is not good. This is not good at all. This is a real low point for Ubisoft, I think. And man, I reckon just avoid this game.
But look, I avoid it potentially, but my real difference is here. Ralph had a giantly glitchy experience. I didn't so much. Do I think this is a broken game? No, I think it's just not the game for me. Maybe some people will love it.
Some people do, absolutely.
All in all, maybe give it a go. I actually felt like the start of our episode, I think we disagree a lot more. We really haven't disagreed as much as we thought, everybody. Okay?
I thought it was garbage, and you were like, yeah, it's okay.
Look, it's okay. I don't think it's a monstrosity like Anthem or
I think it's
Fallout
a monstrosity.
76.
The more I played it, the more I realized I think this is a monstrosity.
I just think it's a broken-ish, boring game.
You just said 2 seconds ago it's not broken.
Sorry, I mean boring game, I should say. Broken in terms of its vision. That's what I'm trying to say. Vision, it's a broken game.
I agree with that.
Anyway, guys, love you. Appreciate you. Young out, I guess.
Ghillie, sit out of here.
Ghillie, sit out of here. Goodbye.